We are back now with Cole Clementich, a student at Minot State University, and coincidentally, one of my former students. Cole is here today to talk about his new podcast that he's been producing this semester. So, Cole, welcome to the program.
Yeah, Dr. Simpson, thank you for having me on the program. I'm a freshman broadcasting major here at Minot State. As you know, podcasting is a part of broadcasting, so it's been kind of cool to mix those two together. My podcast is called the Minot Sports Podcast. I cover all local sporting events here around town. I graduated from Minot High last year. I actually went to a bunch of these sporting events, and it was a passion of mine. And I realized quickly that I can't make a career off of just going to sporting events. So I thought, why not make something productive out of it? And so when I had my grad party last year, I actually had a bunch of the athletes come on by, and they asked me what did I want to do in college or for a future career. And I told them specifically that I want to do a local sports podcast. And so I cover Minot High, I cover the Class B high schools in R.E. Deemers and Bishop Bryan. I do, of course, Minot State athletics here as well. Can't forget them. And I also do the SaberDogs baseball and the Minotauros hockey teams.
That is a lot of coverage for teams. Hey, so all throughout the episodes, I think I've counted at least 33 of these now. I've heard a lot of little interview segments. So, who all have you been talking with in terms of interviews on the program?
Yes. Thanks to Neil Roberts and Lee Johnson, and I should also give credit to an unlikely source, Heather Martin, who was my then advisor at the time, who actually led me to the broadcasting department, and which led me to Neil and Lee. They showed me around the department, which I do all my work so far in the radio production room. And so that's where I have all my guests come in. As far as content goes, I record in there and I try to keep content relevant to certain times of the year. So, for example, I had Shane Ladaghi, the MSU football recruiting coordinator, come in. It was 2 days after the National Signing Day. I had him come and speak on what the day was like and what are their tactics to try to recruit high school athletes to come up here to Minot to play football, or just kind of what they do during their process. So that's been fun. For Minot State softball, when their season started, I interviewed one of their pitchers, Roxanne Inez. She kind of spoke on, well, it was like starting up a new year. She's also a fellow broadcasting major, so it was convenient. She spoke on what it was like starting up a new year and what it's like starting up at the college ranks, and just kind of a bunch of other things related to Minot State softball. And then I also had Blake Friars come in a month before the national tournament for Minot State hockey. He I talked to him about the last series before the national tournament and what the preparation was like there. So lots of great stuff to be interviewing people with. And I've also had others reach out to me. One of them, most notably, was Corey Thompson, the manager for the SaberDogs baseball team. So it's been great stuff so far.
Absolutely. So, Cole, if somebody wants to find the podcast, how would they find it online? What would they look for?
Yes. So, as I said, I record all my episodes in the radio production room in the studio. I have a Twitter and Instagram. On Twitter, you can follow the Minot Sports Podcast. The handle is at Minot Podcast. And on Instagram, it's called the Minot Sports Podcast. I tweet out all of my links on there on Twitter. And then on Instagram with the little website hyperlink on the bio, that's where I post some of my episodes and interviews. I also get interviews with players as well. But usually I kind of get crowded on Instagram, so I also like to incorporate my personal Instagram on there as well. So that's been a little helpful too, but that's where I post my all my stuff on social media. That's what I have right now is Instagram and Twitter.
So, Cole, before we go, I did want to ask you one more question. We had been talking before we recorded. So, how is the transition to having to take all online classes this semester because of the coronavirus? How has that been for you as a student?
Yeah, so it's been kind of rough, with the coronavirus canceling all sports. So I've been having a hard time trying to come up with content, but I've been kind of been able to get some stuff posted on the Instagram story and been posting some messages on Instagram as well and Twitter, of course. It's been kind of hard to record stuff because there's really nothing much going on, but it's a little bit of a challenge. But as for online classes, I miss the face to face because with what I'm doing online right now, I feel like I haven't been meeting my own deadlines, doing stuff at times I've wanted to do them. It's been tricky for me. So I do there. That's one reason why I do miss having face to face class, and hopefully we can get back into that soon. But of course, with a pandemic this, it's been a challenge for everyone. So hopefully, we can just all get used to it, and things will pass and get back to normal at some point.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that's the sentiment shared not just by students, but also by faculty as well.
Oh
All right.
yes. Hmm.
Cole Clementich, thank you again for being on the program. We wish you lots of luck on the podcast and definitely be in touch.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
All right. We'll be right back.